Part 2. This is debate on clauses 33 to 55. The question is at Part 2 stand part. The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr Chair, Part 2 amends the Domestic Violence Act 1995. I'd like to hope that the whole of the House can agree with this. What this does is it strengthens the Family Court's response to domestic violence. The definition of psychological abuse will be widened to include financial and economic abuse. And although these have been recognised as psychological abuse in case law, the change will make it clear in legislation. Economic abuse includes such things as denying or limiting access to financial resources or being able to have a job. Clause 51 of the bill will amend the maximum penalty for breaching a protection order. The maximum penalty will be increased from 2 years to 3 years imprisonment, and the change is one of our election promises and makes it very clear that we will not tolerate domestic violence. Part 2 also introduces new provisions to ensure that the programs that we provide to protected persons and for respondents are safe and respond to the needs of people using them. The changes also enable respondents, protected people and their whānau to participate in each other's programs where it is safe and appropriate to do so. Our programs for protected people need to enable their families and whānau to support them and help them to keep safe from future abuse. The bill clarifies providers' responsibility to report safety concerns. If at any stage of providing a program to the violent person, the service provider becomes concerned for the protected person's safety, they must notify the registrar. And the registrar must ensure a judge is notified of the safety concerns, and also that the protected person is made aware of the concerns. The Government SOP amends Clause 52A so that the registrar arranges for the protected person to be advised of any safety concerns, and that is something where we have taken the recommendations of the Select Committee, which as well, Mr Chair, we actually took all of the recommendations of the Select Committee from the majority of it. The new legislation will also help make non-violence programs more effective by ensuring a program is provided based on the violent person's needs. There will be a mandatory assessment for respondents. Responsiveness is increased as there will be more opportunity for providers to return to court to amend directions or orders where needed. This includes the ability to notify the registrar if, after undertaking assessment, there are safety concerns, or if the provider is unable to provide a program that meets the violent person's needs. At completion of a non-violence program, providers will be required to report on whether the program's objectives were achieved. A new provision is included so that it is clear that a judge can respond appropriately to any concerns or issues raised by the report that can be addressed by the court. The Part 2 now clarifies that the Ministry of Justice has responsibility for the approval of providers. The legislation needs to be sufficiently flexible for the future to ensure that appropriate providers can deliver safe and effective programs.
The Honourable Minister, the time has come for me to report progress.
The House has resumed, Mr Chairman.
Mr Speaker, the committee has considered the Housing Accords and Special Housing Areas Bill and reports it with amendment. The committee has also considered the Family Court Proceedings Reform Bill and reports progress. The committee has further considered the Airport's Cost Recovery for Processing of International Travellers Bill and reports no progress. Mr Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The Housing Accords and Special Housing Areas Bill is set down for third reading next sitting day, and the Family Court Proceedings Reform Bill and the Airport's Cost Recovery for Processing of International Travellers Bill are set down for further consideration in committee next sitting day, and the House will stand adjourned until 2 p.m. tomorrow. Good evening, everybody.